sweetest and sourest Nick moments in the film. I know what my sourest is. I'm still shook by it.
I would say a pretty sweet Nick moment is when Noah throws a drink in his face after he's dancing. I think that's a pretty satisfying moment for the audience that involves Nick. Obviously, he has many moments where he's sweet and tender, but like, right. I would say that. And then I would say sourest is when he dumps her on a bridge.
Yeah, I think that's for sure. Like this, it's almost more sour the next morning. Like,
yeah.
The denial is the most sour part for me.
The way that Asha played out that breakfast scene the morning after and the aggression with which she throws the berries into the cereal bowl
pours the milk,
sums it all up for me. And the glare that you're giving him and just like the space to breathe on that is so good.
We honestly got that scene in one take. We were like, Asha nailed it, and here we go. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, and that's when he's sort of like falling for her, I think. The way that she, the way that you react to those little moments, I think he's like, yes, throw those.
And stands up against him. I don't know if anyone has ever stood up, any like young woman has ever stood up to Nick in the way that Noah does. And I think that's what really like rocks his world a little bit. I have two sweet moments for Nick. One is the way, because I've also seen people like sort of catching on to the performances of these, but when he comes into the closet and Noah's having her panic attack, he comes in and he goes, it's just me.
Yeah.
His voice goes so high and it's like so comforting. And then also at the end when, spoiler alert, Noah's dad is holding her up at gunpoint and then is shot. Maybe you could cut this part out. But then he is like collapsing to the ground and he is pulling her face towards him and he's going, look at me, because he doesn't want her to see her dad dying. I think that was like a very subtle discussion. Like that was a very subtle performance choice, but I think a lot of people have caught on to it, which is cool.
Good ones.
I also think a sweet moment for Nick, for me, is like the whole bonfire scene. I mean, that's very like, the most quintessential like sweet thing, I guess, like that act. And I just love that scene. I think that scene is so sweet in general.
Yeah. And I would say he does, Nick is a bit aggressive and sometimes communicates with his fists, but he usually is punching people who have hurt Noah. Like Tom drugs her, Dan is a prick,
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to honor Noah in the way
intentions are sweet.
Yeah. He doesn't realize yet that maybe she doesn't need as much protecting as he wants to give her.